Hello, everybody, and welcome to Back and Forth. I'm your host, Gecko Man, and sitting beside me is our co-host, Rogue Gambit, the man who knows willfulness leads to anarchy, and it cannot be allowed to spread.
I'm not broken, and I'm not alone.
All right. What's up?
As you could maybe tell, we will be talking about the DCEU today.
Or if you don't, just know that he won't allow anarchy.
And I'm not alone.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about, we'll be giving a little,
So we don't really talk Marvel.
Yep.
So, we know things about DC.
I mean,
I'm not a big DCEU fan. I like Batman comics. I like some of the DC animated stuff.
but you like Red Hood.
I love Red Hood. So yeah, we'll give like a brief overview of what the DCEU has been and what it's becoming, and talk more specifically about things that are coming out very soon.
Yeah.
So,
Where do you want to start us with?
we'll start where the DCEU started with a little film that came out in 2011, maybe. It's called Man of Steel.
The first DC? I don't think it was the first DC.
First DCEU movie, yeah.
Oh, was it?
What would have been before it?
I don't know. I feel like there was at least some black and white movie of Superman or something.
No, we're starting with the DCEU.
Oh,
not where
DCE.
DC started.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Well, if you want to go back to where DC started.
No, let's go. Let's just Man of Steel. Go for it.
Man of Steel. It came out.
Sorry, I am very tired today, so let's do this.
All right. So, I mean, we might want to start with what DCEU even stands for. The DC Extended Universe.
Yeah. Not like MCU.
Yeah, it's not the cinematic universe.
Extended universe.
Extended. Yes.
Means
All right, anyways, Man of Steel came out in 2013. Wow. It feels
No
so much
way.
older than that.
yeah. My goodness.
But yeah, we got Henry Cavill as Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I love Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
the best part of that movie.
yeah, he was really good in that movie. I haven't seen it in like forever, so
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I don't hate it. Russell Crowe did a great job.
yeah. I think for me, one of the problems with the movie was the fact that people were dying.
Okay.
No, just there wasn't a sense of like Superman trying to save those
Right.
people.
That's
That
for
was
sure.
that was one of the problems with the movie. But other than that, yeah, not a bad movie. Not a bad movie. Not a bad start.
The first hour of the movie's good.
Oh yeah. Learning what Superman is. What?
Anyways, we're not reviewing these.
Yeah.
movies.
We're not reviewing.
Just,
We're just.
brief overview. Anyways, then we got Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
I'm not the biggest fan of that movie. I know this isn't a movie review, but I just wanted to say that. But yeah, we got Dawn of Justice, Batman. It's kind of a Batman that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, they definitely tried something new with Batman. Ben Affleck.
Let's just say he uses guns. That's all.
And definitely not the Batman we're used to. Definitely not the Batman that I read in the comics.
Yeah. But it does seem like a time after the events of possibly Jason Todd being killed.
Right. Definitely is like Batman at a very dark time. They tried to make Batman very comic booky.
Yeah.
And I don't think it really worked.
It did not. It felt more of.
Though the one scene with him just beating the heck out of those people was beautiful.
It was very, very good. It just felt very Arkham style.
Yeah.
Very Arkham style. I feel like they just did a lot of combination of stuff.
And then the
yeah,
story itself was kind of boring, in my opinion. That was kind of the weakest part of it, which was sad.
definitely, especially with Doomsday coming in.
So then later that year in 2016, we got the first Suicide Squad movie.
Yes. I actually still haven't seen either of the Suicide Squad
Well,
movies.
you are not missing much. The first one is horrible. One of the worst movies I've ever watched.
They're in the DCEU.
Sadly, yes.
Oh man. Okay. What
Makes it boring?
What makes it boring?
It's boring because you don't feel any connection to the characters, and so it's all about these characters that are probably going to die, right? Like they have chips in their head that will blow off their head, and you're supposed to care about them, and they don't they don't give you any chance to care about them.
All right.
And so the whole premise of the movie ends up being boring, and then you're just watching people run around and a bunch of evil people killing people to try and stop. Oh, and then so much bad CGI. It's a mess of a third act. Amanda Waller, love her in the comics and in the TV shows. Just boring. Yeah.
All right. What does it give for this DCEU? Does it give anything at all? Like,
I mean, it gives us the second Suicide Squad movie, which we'll talk about later.
Okay.
All right. So then we'll move on to Wonder Woman, 2017.
Yes. It gives us the backstory of Wonder Woman, kind of where it is. Not really a fan of like the ending. Not the biggest fan of it, but at the same time, I really I was a fan of the journey.
Yeah.
So it does give you kind of more of what's in this DC universe. Gives you the Amazons, gives you
Themyscirians.
Thank you. And these gods of the DC universe.
Yeah. It definitely I like the movie a lot. The first two acts of that movie are superb.
Yeah.
Great character development. Really fun world. Tells like a backstory without it being boring.
Mm-hmm.
And then
beautiful.
Yes, kind of falls apart in the third act, but it's still a really fun movie to watch. I've watched it a couple of times, and it's definitely held up.
I definitely need to watch it again.
And it does bring in the gods of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So that it also does that. All right. Then we get later in 2017 the Justice League movie.
All right.
We can talk about the Snyder Cut if you'd prefer.
Either works for me. I both have their downfalls, but again, we're not reviewing these movies.
Yeah, I think we've talked about the Snyder Cut before.
We did
a little bit.
Yeah, I think we did talk a little bit about that.
But anyways,
yeah, moving on. It gives us. It was just a quick run through of giving us a team that can fight evil. Not the best sort of way of telling that story, but it gives us more heroes to follow. I think was kind of the upside towards it.
Yeah, I mean,
not the best. There was some pretty bad CGI in it.
Some bad CGI that was tried to be fixed in the Snyder Cut, and it wasn't nearly as bad in the Snyder Cut. Yeah, I think what it did well was like the new heroes, like you said. Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman were all well done. Cyborg was actually really fun. I mean, I like Cyborg quite a bit, and I think he was done pretty well. The villain, on the other hand,
yeah. Villain's not the best,
and like us barely seeing Darkseid or not seeing Darkseid, depending on how you look at it. Like, so unnecessary, and like Darkseid's such a good villain, and like if they would have set him up as an actual villain and them having to defeat Steppenwolf to get to him, it's so much better story. But
yeah. I did, even though in the Snyder Cut, I will say, yes, with how little we saw Darkseid, he was still this menacing type of man, this being, and I think I liked Steppenwolf a little better in Snyder.
Definitely better in Snyder Cut.
Yeah, as well as I liked the roles each hero's played in it. So, just wanted to put that out there.
All right, so then almost a year later, we got in 2018 Aquaman.
Oh yeah. Had some like visually amazing shots, I'll say.
Yep.
Story was difficult. Not difficult to follow, but just kind of a blah moment.
Okay.
But for the universe, it just kind of showed us Atlantis. Just kind of gave us the rundown of like what Atlantis is.
Yeah. I liked this movie. That's about all I can say about it.
Okay.
Like, it was a fun movie. Jason Momoa portrays Aquaman well. The world of Atlantis was cool. Yeah, so it was really just generic, like uncle being evil story.
Yeah,
and the third act was a bit jumbled. The CGI wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. And then the whole like his mother story or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Like was thrown so shoehorned in there, you forgot about it. Like, it wasn't done very well.
Yeah,
it was a really interesting story. I liked his character arc, but that part felt so disconnected from the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it also felt very disconnected from the DCEU because it's just Aquaman.
Yep.
We don't get any sign of like why the other heroes aren't helping him or anything like that.
It's Atlantis. It's underwater. They can't live under there.
True, but they've got breathable masks.
They do.
What?
They do. How do we know that?
That's true. Batman, Bruce Wayne.
I mean, he probably does, but we don't know. All right. Anyways, moving on. Then a few months later, in 2019, we get Shazam.
Yep, Shazam. No, I don't know. I'm like on the fence about this movie. I may need to watch it again, but I don't know. Like,
it was a movie for me.
We're kind of going off track with saying of reviews and stuff like that. But
it was a fun movie, I guess.
Yeah.
But I did not like the story at all, and the ending is so bad, and the villain is so mediocre, and the hero is so like not even a hero. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. He's just there.
Billy Batson, I love you.
Yeah, it's another movie that feels disconnected.
Yep.
Because I feel like they even talk anything about the Justice League or any other superheroes.
I'm sure they mentioned something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I feel like they never talked anything about that. It felt very disconnected.
So it kind of just like gave us a so at this time in the DCEU, basically Henry Cavill was like, I'm not doing Superman anymore, and they weren't going to bring him back. So I think it was trying to give him another Superman like character or powered character, very much not like him, but without having him. So that's about all it did with the DC. All right, moving on. Then almost a year later, we get Birds of Prey, which neither of us have seen. I do want to see it.
Is that the other Suicide Squad?
No. Oh, it was basically like Harley Quinn spinoff, very similar to.
Oh, so that's in the DCEU. Yeah. Oh, I never knew that. I've heard of the movie. I've never knew that Birds of Prey was.
Yeah, so can't really talk too much on it. But it basically just brought in some other anti-heroes.
Yeah, I think it's just me personally. I'll just say what I think this movie was supposed to give us. I think it's just to give us more anti-heroes.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the DC movies that were brought out previously were just to give us these heroes to put into their universe and stuff like that. They're trying to follow Marvel, not doing the best at the moment. That's all I'm going to say.
So then we get Wonder Woman 1984.
All right. Not as good as the first Wonder Woman, I'll say.
Sure.
But it was just, for me personally, it felt like another backstory.
Yep.
Doesn't really add anything to the DCU. Doesn't really take anything away, I feel like.
Yeah. For me, it suffered the same exact problems the first one had. Third act, not well done. Villain, super boring. And then it didn't have the world building and character development that the first one had. So it just kind of suffered really hard on that front, and just it felt so stuck in the past, with like it not being able to move past Steve and all that, and her character being so stuck, and it was like her character really didn't grow throughout the movie, and just suffered from all that, and wasn't even that fun of a movie. It looked good still. Another beautiful movie.
Yeah, definitely had some beautiful moments in it.
And then we got the Zack Snyder cut. We don't really need to talk about that. We already did. And then after that, we got the newer Justice League. Suicide Squad.
I was like, when did a new Justice League come out?
The new Suicide Squad.
I feel like we would have been all over that.
Which was much better than the first one.
Okay.
But it still wasn't very good.
It did add anything. I do know.
So it brought in more anti-heroes.
Okay, I do know. What's that creature's name? Starro, isn't it? I don't know how big of a role it plays.
Well, Starro was the villain.
Oh, okay. Well, I was not expecting that. I do know. I thought, okay, I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, so Starro was the villain. Well, kind of. In those type of movies, it's like, is the government the villain or is it the villain, or is it Starro? But anyways,
Any better on what's her name?
Harley Quinn?
No, who you like in the comics and the animated, but you didn't like in the first Suicide Squad.
Oh, Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller.
We don't get as much Amanda Waller in the second one. It was focusing a lot more on like the team itself.
Okay.
She was fine. It definitely did a lot better job of getting us to care about characters, which is really where the first one failed. And so it's a lot better of a movie because of that. But it got really jumbled in. I felt like what it was trying. It was stuck between trying to tell those characters' stories and trying to be fun, and yeah.
All right.
And then it had it just made for some really good scenes, but they all just kind of fell flat because it wasn't willing to go far enough.
Okay. So it didn't. Again,
But it did have one of my favorite fight scenes that I've seen in DC.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're saying it would be your favorite DC fight scene?
No, I literally did not say that at all. I said one of my favorite DCEU.
So your favorite DCEU fight scene?
No.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we've got what is coming.
Yes.
So October 21st. So everything I'll move back. We were talking about Black Adam coming out next month. Well, it's not coming out till October. October 21st, Black Adam's coming out. And then Batgirl hasn't got a date yet, but it's supposed to come out in 2022. I don't know if it will since it hasn't gotten a date yet.
Well, also with Black Adam being pushed
Black Adam being October and Shazam 2 coming out December 16th.
Yeah.
Unless it comes out in November, that's all crammed together and they're close.
That would scare me because then that means they might not be the best movies.
Right. And so it goes, so they have October, December, and then March Aquaman, June The Flash.
Oh, and my goodness.
And then later in 2023, Blue Beetle. That's a lot that they're coming out in a year, or less than a year. That's crazy.
Yeah, what the
So I want to talk about how we see that progressing, what we think each of those movies will do, and the jumbled mess that is the DCEU.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, continue.
So from what we've gotten so far and where kind of stuff is at, they move stuff back basically because of the Flash movie.
Okay.
A couple of things. They're thinking of changing actors in the Flash movie. So they're going to have to do a bunch of reshoots. They had to move stuff back. And because of that, other stuff was going to be ready sooner. So it's supposed to be July Black Adam, October Flash, and December Shazam.
All right.
Or something like that. And then Aquaman was basically that's going to be ready first, and we might have to change all this Flash stuff. And so they moved Flash back, moved Aquaman up, and then they had to reshoot stuff because of them changing the order in other movies. So then they just decided to move everything back.
Wow.
And then at the same time, Henry Cavill's I'm willing to do Superman. And so they're okay, how can we work Superman into everything? So then they were changing to get Superman in. So yeah, it's a jumbled mess.
Yeah, that's a big mess right there.
The Rock really wants to do a Black Adam versus Superman fight, so they're probably going to do that at some point. And so then they had to change other stuff. And then on top of all that, they decided in the Flash movie, they're going to use his time travel abilities to bring the original 1989 Batman with Michael Keaton into the DCEU.
What?
Yeah. They're going to make that canon to the DCEU. Make those the first 2 Batman movies.
Okay.
And Michael Keaton has said that he will come back to play Batman.
What? Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is becoming even more of a jumbled mess than I thought it was. This is like a big knot that I don't even want to put my just step in.
We haven't even mentioned the TV shows that are coming out.
Oh my goodness. Like, okay, so oh man, I had hopes for the Flash. Now I'm just like so lost.
Yeah, the Flash, I was definitely like, yeah, I had hopes for it. I liked the actor that they had, and now they're changing the actor, most likely. We don't know for sure.
Okay. I'm sorry, real fast. So many DC characters we've seen already played in other movies and stuff like that. And now we've seen them change so many times and hearing them being changed again and again. It's like, why are you still trying? Just make them their own movies and stuff. I understand you want to have other stuff in it, but like, it's like you've already messed it up. Just smacked my head on the desk.
So yeah, they clearly, like, the difference between them and the MCU is, like, the MCU has Kevin Feige, who has his plan, right? Mm-hmm. And they have an overarching story that they want to tell. They have a villain they want to get to. Let's, like, think of Phase 1, right? That one, like, all they did in Phase 1 was have origin story movies. Mm-hmm. Of course, Iron Man got a second one, but he kind of needed one because, like, his origin story, like, brought him to having a suit. There wasn't really an Iron Man origin story, right?
Yeah.
And so or all it was an origin story. It didn't really go past that. Whereas everybody else already had their powers or whatnot, so they had the origin story plus what was happening with them and character development. Mm-hmm. And then they got to the Avengers movie and brought that all together in a story. Yeah. Move on to the second one. We knew they knew they wanted Ultron for Phase 2 villains. Mm-hmm. So we knew that we were going to get there. And then it was just creating stories that could lead up to that.
Yeah.
And then Phase 3, we knew we wanted Thanos. Thanos had been teased all the way from the very start. So it made sense for him to be there. Everything overarched. They had all these big projects that were finished, basically finishing up their stories for some of them or progressing their stories for others. Mm-hmm. And then they had a culmination, right? In the DCEU, they had none of that. Like, Zack Snyder wanted to be that, but they wouldn't let him. And so they just had, let's make a Superman movie to make money off it. Oh, that did well. Let's make a Batman vs. Superman movie to make money. Then they're like, Marvel's over there. We need to get a Justice League movie. We're going to bring in all these characters that nobody knows anything about and try to give them all an origin story and go all the way. That could have been a good movie all on its own, but they're trying to throw that in a middle of... Yeah. It's like Avengers. If Avengers came out after, it would have been like it came after Incredible Hulk. If we had just had Iron Man 2, and Incredible Hulk, and then suddenly Avengers.
Oh no, that would make no sense.
And so they started off, and then instead of trying to fix it by, like, I mean, that's why our best movies came right after that, right? We had Wonder Woman and Aquaman basically right after that. And we actually had 2 pretty good movies where we had origin stories, where they told the origin story. But then they just quickly were like trying to retcon things with Snyder Cut and Suicide Squad, and then Suicide Squad reboot, instead of just giving us an origin story. Like, we had gotten these characters in Justice League. Yep. We gave Wonder Woman an origin story. We gave Aquaman an origin story. Why didn't we just keep going with that? Give Flash his origin story. Give Cyborg his origin story. Mm-hmm. Continue them and lead to something. But instead, we're just throwing more in there. I mean, Birds of Prey had, Black Canary, Huntress. I haven't even watched it. Yeah. It has all these characters in it. Suicide Squad had Joker, Harley Quinn, Deathstroke, Deadshot. Was Deathstroke? I don't even remember all the people that were in the first one. It was too long.
Too mmany characters.
And then they brought more in the next one. And it's like, all right, I don't know what world they're doing in those movies. I don't know what the world's like. Yeah. Because if you look at Batman vs. Superman and Wonder Woman, in Wonder Woman 1984, those worlds are so different.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's look at Suicide Squad. The world's so different.
Yeah.
And on top of all that, we have all these characters that some have been killed off and come back, and other ones are like in this part of the world and in that part of the world.
Yeah.
And like it's just so jumbled.
It's a big it's like a maze that has no end.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Like, you could have done so much more.
Right.
You could have made it so much better.
So we have bashed the DCEU pretty hard.
Yeah.
And I am a DC fan, though. This isn't like some Marvel fanboy that's just bashing DC.
Yeah.
I love DC Comics.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said last episode, like I told you why I thought it was hard for them to bring
Yeah.
DC Comics to life on the movie screen, and especially in a universe. So I do want to say like what I think they can do to make this better.
We are running a little bit out of time.
So this is going to be the last thing we do here. Hopefully this is quick.
Yeah.
It's
hopefully.
basically this. I think Shazam is the world they need to go with. All right. The world that Shazam took place, that Shazam
is in
brought forth.
Oh, brought forth. Yeah.
Is the world that makes the most sense for everything to be in. All right.
Okay.
It was different enough from our world, but close enough to our world where it can relate to people, but it can also have a world like Themyscira and Themyscira in it. It can have these other gods because he went and talked to Shazam in that world, and it can have somebody like Superman in it. And it had a lot of hints at our world and like social media and stuff, but like. That's okay for a Shazam type character to have that. And then these other characters, they just have to not do too much of that so that it feels separate enough from our world, like the comics are. That I think it would have been really nice to get a Flash movie after that, because Flash is from Central City or Star City, and how different Star City is from anything in our world. If they would have really leaned into that, that would be really set up what this world is. So what I think they need to do is do that in Black Adam. Is set up that there's like these are the gods, right, with the Shazams and whatnot, and then these are the alien worlds because comes from an alien world and has to deal with the gods, and he's coming to our world. Yeah, and really set up that this is different. Like I can't remember the name of the country that he rules on Earth, but that country, if it shows that it's not part of Earth, but it's part of this Earth that has Metropolis, it has Central City, it has Star City, it has I can't remember Bane's little world, all those places, then we can lead into the Shazam movie, the Batgirl movie being in Gotham, not in this New York style of city that we got in Batman vs Superman and Man of Steel. And then that can lead into Flash's origin story that we get if we get a good Flash. And then Damien mentioned Aquaman coming out, and like that was another one that his world can live in the world that Shazam did. So I think they lean into that, separate it from our world, but let those characters, not everybody, but those characters that like the Billy Batsons, like the Barry Allens that relate to us, live enough in our world that we relate, but separating the world from our reality. So that's what I think they really need to do in these next few movies. And if they do it, they could really fix the problems that have happened. And then besides that, just have good movies.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Tell a good story. So, any thoughts you have before we wrap this up?
Nothing else. I think I've said all I wanted to say at this moment without elongating our time here.
All right.
Let's move into Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ms. Marvel.
All righty. All right, so Obi-Wan episode 5 and Ms. Marvel episode 2. Where should we start?
Can we start nowhere? Fine, let's get Star Wars out of the way because I'm all so upset about it.
I personally want to start with what I liked in the episode.
All right. I can already guess you liked the character.
Yes, the character development was impressively done. No. I think it's what I've kind of said I've liked the entire time. The visuals were very good.
Yeah, I don't.
That's some very good camera work.
I will say that one scene with Darth Vader holding the ship.
It was beautiful.
It was very beautiful.
And then even before that, when like they're sieging the door, a lot of those shots were really well done. The just like look of the stormtroopers all standing there was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Her like standing in front of them, just firing at the door looked good. The people inside, it just set up really well.
Yeah.
And then it just fell apart.
Did you have trouble following the fight?
Yes, this is the problem I had with the fight. That fight, is they didn't do a good job of like setting. There's this really cool video on YouTube. I don't know if you ever watched it, but it compares a couple of really well-known fight scenes. One of them is in Lord of the Rings when it's the big fight for Rohan, and you've got like, and they do a really good job of showing you each tier of the fight on the ground, and you have, like,
are
the
you
wizard
talking about
guys, in the towers.
What are you talking about? The final fight or the
one with a bad wizard. What's his name? Saruman.
Is it Saruman? Yeah.
Dies.
Okay. So you're talking about? Oh, you're talking about Helm's Deep fight?
Helm's Deep, because like there's so many fights going on in that fight, right? Love that fight. Anyways, it talks about how they go from showing Saruman and Gandalf, right?
They don't fight.
I know, but they show them. And they literally show him in the tower, like looking down.
Oh, yeah.
And seeing it through his mind's eye or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they show each tier of the fight. And so you know exactly what's going on.
Okay.
In this fight, they could have done that with Darth Vader up in his little ship.
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan, as like Saruman and Gandalf. Inquisitor lady at the front as the next tier with shooty guy and chick.
Yeah.
As the second tier, and then like the soldiers, right?
Yeah.
But they don't do that. They just have this like blob of soldiers and this blob of soldiers.
It just made no sense.
Exactly. So,
yeah. Anything else you want to get into? Because I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about.
I mean, is there anything that you liked in the episode that you want to go into? Because
I will say this: Darth Vader. I think they did a very good job with Darth Vader. Again, like, I'm just gonna say this right now. I'm just not liking this show, but they did a very good job with Darth Vader.
The shot where we see his reflection first, such a good shot.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
All the shots on the I think all the scenes even on his ship were really well done.
They were really well done.
I think the best scenes so far have been where it's Darth Vader by himself or Darth Vader just like talking to his people.
Yeah.
Have been by far the best scenes.
Yeah. Now, what I didn't like about there's so many things. All right, so many things. But I think we should start with the biggest one.
Or the smallest?
You want to start with the smallest?
Well, it's the biggest, but it's the smallest.
Well, no, like this one's pretty big for me. For me, it's really big.
I know, but that's also very small because it's Leia. She's not very big.
That's not the biggest problem.
That's the biggest problem.
The biggest problem is how the aim of the stormtroopers just degraded so much. Like, I don't know how you can miss somebody point blank range.
I'm pretty sure they hit them when they were point blank, but if they backed up at all, they missed.
It was so stupid. There were so many times where I would feel like there's a dude there who should have died.
Yeah. Like so many rebels not taking cover, but just like standing out in the middle, getting this like so poorly done. It's like have them behind something or near something.
Yeah.
It's part of their body covered in some way so that they can't just aim at their entire being.
I guess you could say he was standing close to Obi-Wan, so Obi-Wan was deflecting shots and stuff.
And the Force was
yeah, exactly. But at the same time, when he moves up next to Obi-Wan, that one guy, he looked like he almost got hit by his lightsaber.
Yeah.
It was so stupid. I'm sorry, but it was dumb. I understand Obi-Wan was there giving cover for them, but still at the same time he can't block every single shot.
Well, when they're that bad. Yeah. My biggest problem with it was Leia. I've hated Leia from the start. She's just so poorly done.
Yeah.
And just like the lack of character but they try to just force her so hard. It's so annoying. She's just like sitting there. We haven't seen her. We literally had she said a single word all episode?
No.
Yeah. And then she's just like, bring me a ladder.
Why? I hated that. The way she just walks up and just like, bring me a ladder. And it was just like, this is not how Leia should be at this moment. I understand, like, sure, like she's like that when she's older,
right?
But
and I'm okay with her being like a princess, demanding, like,
yeah.
But like, she has and then there's another thing. They never tell her what to do, but she goes up there and he's like, "Remember, he said the red one."
Exactly,
and it's like, they do that so much. It's like I'm gonna say this when we get to Ms. Marvel too. Is they slow down and focus on the wrong things, and then they speed up past the important things.
Yeah,
and it's like so aggravating. It's like when she was up there, I was like, what is she even going to do?
Yeah,
and then she's just like moving wires around, and and then it's like, oh, we need to fix this because we forgot to mention it, and so they just have the random dude. It's the red one.
Yeah,
and then she's like, even when she's holding it, we all were like, a screwdriver. Like, we still had no idea what she was doing.
Yeah, that was just a dumb scene, unnecessary.
And also, it doesn't make sense. First of all, we see this droid cut through something, and then she just has to plug something
in.
First, number two, it's not connected, so no power is getting there. Yet he does some beep boop boop boop, and it tries to open.
Yeah.
What was trying to open and what was stopping it from opening? It's not like something was blocking it shut.
Exactly.
But that's what it acted like.
Yeah, I don't know if they were trying to say that the droid was just keeping it closed.
Lola has the Force.
Well, I mean, she did. Lola did open up the door to that place with using the Force.
Yeah, and then it's like, and then Lola shows up and Leia's like, "Oh no, you're all red." Oh, I know the problem. It's like, what?
That was dumb.
Oh my goodness! It's like, wait, is Leia working with the Inquisitor? I kind of confused.
Yeah. But then you just go through that whole episode. I don't think I was a fan of. I don't know. I just did not like it. Especially the Inquisitors throughout that episode.
Yeah, she was. It was like they thought they were revealing something, but everybody knew it. You know? And it was like, we have this meeting with them, and oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But she never. It's like, we already knew she was going to be one of the younglings.
Yep.
So that wasn't a reveal. And then she wasn't. Actually, she didn't act that mad at Obi-Wan, but she was like saying she was. She's like, where were you?
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like. And then Obi-Wan just abandons her, but she doesn't seem to care about that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, why did
so much in that episode to where the Inquisitor was just basically cast aside just so the Grand Inquisitor can come back.
Exactly. And like, and then they don't even like just kill her. Like, why wouldn't Darth Vader? Why did he? Like, his whole thing is he doesn't want to be betrayed, right? And if somebody betrays him, he's going to kill them. And he just like leaves her there because like the Grand Inquisitor wanted to leave her in the gutter where they found her. Like, what?
I don't know.
And on top of that, like, he's mad. Like, he was literally ripping open a ship, and then he has this little duel with her, and like apparently like, oh, blew off my steam. And not only, and that's like him not following like how his character arc and how we know he is, but Obi-Wan, every bit of his character at this point would have said he would have stayed there to fight.
Yeah.
And he just leaves.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of the ship, let's talk about some of the things that happened that shouldn't have happened. Like the ship.
Yeah.
First off, who's driving the ship? Second off,
Yeah.
where was
so
that
see,
ship
so this is what
hiding?
happened. This is what happened. One dude got in that ship. Everybody else got on the other ship. Okay?
Yeah.
He tried to take off. All right. He gets brought back down by epic Darth Vader forceness.
Mm-hmm.
Right when he lands, he runs over to the other ship while Darth Vader's ripping it open. He jumps in and flies away with that ship.
That was dumb. Like, first off, the ship is in the air.
Right.
I understand Vader's focused on that.
Right.
How does he not see the
And there
ship?
wasn't one. If you look, there's nothing there in the shot.
Yeah, I don't know if they
They
made him
They definitely tried to make it so like the dust and the repulsors, I don't know what they're called in Star Wars.
repulsors, you can call me
Thrusters were definitely making it so it's hard to see what was back there, but I did not see it. Like there was nothing there.
Yeah. But then you also have to know Darth Vader has the Force. He could sense if anybody's in there. I understand. He's angry. Sure, you might not like.
And it just would have made so much more sense, as a wise one told us, if the Inquisitor would just come out behind him right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like that would have shown how focused he was, right?
Yeah.
And that would have like explained some things away.
Mm-hmm.
And then that ship could just got away because he was now distracted by the Inquisitor.
Uh-huh.
And then he could have been super angry and just destroyed this Inquisitor, and that would have made so much more sense.
That would and it would have been better.
Yeah.
But then let's talk about the fight between the Inquisitor and Darth Vader. Oh my gosh.
Just like let them fight. Like why does she have to do a little break dance?
Yeah, she goes behind Darth Vader.
Yeah, and Darth Vader just stands there and just is like, I get that he totally is in control, but then she's all like, oh, go this way, oh, back this way. Like, oh, do a flip.
Yeah, and he's just flinging his lightsaber back and forth. And it confuses me because why didn't she just like go for the back?
Right.
I don't know. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah.
I just did not like it.
Yeah, the one thing I would say I did like about the fight, like Darth Vader and like the look of the fight, the way Darth Vader was just like so OP was so good, and then they just tossed it away at the end.
Yeah.
Especially with that Grand Inquisitor coming back.
Yeah.
Just
I
like,
hated
took
that he
so
came
much
back,
away.
but yeah.
I didn't hate that I hate how he came back.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with him coming back a different way. But
Well,
yeah.
Yes. I'm
And
glad.
it's just like,
okay.
But literally, have they now killed 3 people that aren't actually dead in this show? 3 or 4?
I think it's only 2.
No, it's the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
The chick that just got killed but didn't die.
Oh yeah. The other Inquisitor.
The other Inquisitor.
Yeah.
And then there was somebody in episode 1, right?
Who? I mean, there was the Jedi who died.
Right. I mean, I feel like there was somebody else though.
No, I don't think there was anybody in episode 1 who died and then came back.
Man, I must be thinking of something else. I feel like there was another one earlier. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, just kill somebody off already.
Yeah, it's...
Anyways, we should probably get to Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, well, one thing first, I'll just say this episode has just brought so much.
Obi-Wan is breaking the Star Wars love.
Yeah,
Gecko.
it is. It really is. I understand the love that people are giving the show. Like, I'm understanding it. It's just there's too much. There's way too much to hate on for it. All right, moving on.
All right, Ms. Marvel, going to the good show. Yay! I hated this episode.
I was not a fan of it.
Hated this episode. The dialogue was so clunky. And just like
I was so confused.
I've never heard people talk like. I get that they're like trying to be high schoolers. First of all, so many of them look like 35, and it's just so annoying because it's like these 35-year-olds acting like high schoolers, but not even like actual high schoolers act, but how like this like extreme version of high schoolers, and it's just like so hard to watch. But then the dialogue, whether it's the main character, her friends, whether it's her parents or every character, just like doesn't talk like a normal human being talks.
Exactly.
And like they just jump around. Like when she's talking to her parents at the dinner table with her brother and his fiance there.
Yeah.
It was like jumping from one thing to another thing, and just like, oh, we have to get this part. We have to tell this backstory. So he randomly talks about this story. Oh, we have to get this in. And it was like, how about just let them like talk?
Yeah,
Like,
it was hard to follow.
Yeah, it was
especially
so
that
hard.
dinner scene, as you said, it was hard
like
to follow.
It's so hard to follow, especially because like, yeah, you jump around and that's hard to follow, but you can do that as long as your characters like as long as your characters have development. But when you have your characters that are just as sporadic as the dialogue, and it just I don't know. I didn't like, and they had just, and the one part I liked in the first episode, the whole like imagination and seeing, there was so little of that.
Yeah,
that it
there
like
was.
felt it just like everything was so much more, hard to follow because the only part that I could follow that was fun wasn't there. They're like, there's the one text and the one as he got out of the water. That was it.
Yeah, exactly.
And those are the two best parts of the whole show. And then her powers and like her training montage was so bad.
It was like, first off, at the start, I don't know if she was just trying to get into a routine of like becoming stronger.
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, I get that it was just like a parody of a montage, right? And she was just like kind of failing. But like what? And then like the whole thing with like her not being able to lift the thing, and they're like, oh, it's not super strength or whatever. That never went anywhere. And then she uses that later. And it was like, what? Like, suddenly she's stronger? I don't understand. And it's like, all they had to do is like show it, maybe go up her arm, and that's like, oh, now I can use it, right?
Yeah.
But they never show that. And then they don't show that at the end when that happens. So it's just confusing. And how oblivious are the DODC agents?
Oh, yeah.
And also, why is there a acronym for O for of? When that never is, it just should be the DDC, right?
I never caught there.
It's been for a while. The DODC, the Department of.
Well, I never saw it in this.
Yeah, it's the Department of Damage Control.
Yeah.
But there's never is never abbreviated in abbreviations. I don't understand.
Wait, was it abbreviated?
Acronized in an yeah, because it's DODC, not DDC, like it should be. Anyway,
well, that's just dumb. What?
Right. It's like now it's not the FBI, it's the FBOI.
Yeah, but let's also talk about how oblivious they were.
Yeah.
Like car.
Yeah, it just cuts out and they're all just like, wait, where'd she go? And then where did he come from?
Yeah, and why did he? How did he know?
I get that. Like, it looks like they're gonna be villains. It seems like based on the way they shot that last scene, it's like his mom's gonna be villain. So maybe they were stalking her, but
they don't show it. They don't show anything.
And I mean, Bruno. I liked Bruno. I said in the first episode, he was done so poorly, and like, and like I don't know. Everyone felt also like. Nobody felt like the hero in that episode, right?
Yeah.
Like they tried to say like Kamala Khan is the hero, and like Bruno's being bullied, But that was it. Like nobody actually did anything kind. Nobody actually did anything like selfless.
Mm-hmm.
It was like what? Like who?
What would have been better if we maybe saw. I would have liked if we saw Bruno like with a notebook or something to kind of like show that he is interested in her powers more, so we can get more character from him. And Kamala, whatever her name is, just poorly done in that episode. Very poorly done. And oh my goodness, I don't know if I just don't know if I like the whole superhero scene.
It was just poorly done. Like in the time she got up on that roof and got changed, could she not have just run up the stairs? He went up and got him in the window. Like I was like, why is nobody going to go up the stairs?
Yeah, they're just
they're all like, we'll catch him when he falls.
Also, did you see that one dude who had his arm up?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna use the force to stop him. Oh, it was sad. That was. Oh my goodness. Anything else about this episode?
Did you like the Hawkeye Black Widow moment?
Hawkeye Black Widow. You
gotta let me go.
I thought that was pretty funny.
It was. I did not. But it was like sacrilegious. I was like, first of all, because like she would have no idea that happened, right?
Yeah.
She knows that Black Widow died, probably, since she knows everything about the Avengers. But like that happened on
But
the other
I
planet
took it
I can't
as
think of the name of.
I took it as she knew there was the ground there or something.
Right. But like the fact they had her say that, it annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got.
All right, moving on.
All right, so what do we got upcoming in the Marvel? I mean, DC. I mean, Star. That's what you talk about. Star Wars.
Seriously. All right.
Is there anything new finally?
Huh?
I will take that as a no.
Yes. I finally got to watch the Ahsoka trailer.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited.
Barasafi?
Sadly, there was nothing in the trailer about Barasafi, but, oh my goodness, there's so many things. We saw Hera Syndulla.
Yeah.
That's not even what I'm excited about.
Well, I don't know who that is.
That's the Rebel pilot in Star Wars Rebels, the Twi'lek.
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
That one person who flies that the ghost.
Oh, the ghost. Yeah.
But we see Ahsoka. We see somebody using the Force on a cup, and then we see a very familiar droid, who I never thought they would bring back. Do you remember in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the series when Ahsoka is training the Padawans?
Yeah.
The droid who shows them how to build the lightsabers?
Yeah.
He's coming back.
Oh.
I actually liked him, and I was not expecting them to bring him back.
Yeah.
But that gives me grounds to believe someone is coming to the show.
Barasafi?
Yep.
Nice.
So I'm excited. I'm very excited for Ahsoka
So, do we know when this Ahsoka show will be set? Is it like...
I'm assuming it's going to be set after Mandalorian season 2, whenever.
Okay, so this is way later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's way after the original trilogy and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up again just to be sure, because we know in the show that she's going to be hunting down Admiral Thrawn.
All right. Oh, right. I forgot that. Okay.
I believe she's going to be looking for Ezra Bridger.
Well, let's hope she doesn't find him.
Which would make sense of why we have Sabine and Hera in the show.
Sabine, Hera. Okay. I know who they both are.
All right. But I also saw some new footage of Bad Batch. We get a little more with Crosshair and Cody talking.
Okay.
And which gives me more reason to believe of the Clone Rebellion. Which I'm very excited about.
Okay.
Which in After Party, I do want to talk to you about some things about the clones.
Okay. Sounds good.
But that's about it for Bad Batch. Nothing really else. Maybe a tender moment between what's her name and Tech.
Omega.
Yeah, Omega and Tech, but I don't really understand the moment right now.
Okay.
But then we talk about Mandalorian. Oh my goodness. We're going to get more Mandalorians, as I hoped. We're going to get possibly live action Mandalorian ships. I'm so excited. You don't know how excited I am for Mandalorian season 3.
Okay.
And we're going to get Mandalore. And I have this sneaky suspicion that Moff Gideon isn't going to be the main bad guy. I think it's going to be... you know what? I'll tell you in after party. We'll wait.
Yeah. No rumors.
What about you? That's about it.
Okay. Wow. Lots of big Star Wars and not too much Marvel news. So we'll start with Thor: Love and Thunder coming out. We got a new trailer. I'm
sorry.
There wasn't too much new footage. Get a hold of yourself.
Sorry, I'm just giving him a very weird look of just like excitement.
Anyways, there wasn't too much new footage, but they showed a lot of the old footage in a new way. If that makes sense. I think they were trying to. It felt like they were trying to trick us about what comes first and what comes later, and they just like told a different story with it, which is very unique. But yeah, the other thing, very exciting, they have it's played in front of test audiences now,
Really?
and people love gore. There's been people saying he's the best villain we've got in the MCU.
Really?
I'm
That's
so excited. I mean, like, if they let Christian Bale really act, oh my goodness, he could be so good.
I mean, the Marvel, the
and
people
who doesn't
in Marvel
love a good revenge story?
Yeah, true. But yeah, the people in Marvel do let people act. Like, I mean, this is exciting to see. Oh man! Oh,
That's really exciting.
Stop giving me these feelings. I'm really excited now.
The trailer, the trailer didn't really add anything for me. Too big.
I do want to make a confession.
That's not just speculation, so I will talk about a little bit more on After Party, but I think that's all I got for now. What?
I want to make a confession.
What'd you do?
I saw, what's her name? Mighty Thor.
Jane Foster. Judith Foster.
Judith Foster.
You won't get that reference.
I don't, sadly. But I saw how she's going to look in her costume. That looks really good.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Speaking of which, I should mention this in After Party, but remind me to talk about Mighty Thor and After.
Okay, Mighty Thor, After. Remember that.
So, moving on. Some less good news, I guess. So, Across the Spider-Verse, right, was supposed to come out in October. That's literally what they told us in December when I was watching No Way Home, right? We saw the trailer and it said coming October 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
It got moved back to next June.
I'm sorry, what?
Like 9 months.
I wonder if it's because of the amount of people like saying how the animation looks like and stuff.
No, I think probably, sadly, I think what it came down to is because Multiverse of Madness came out, they felt like they could maybe merge. I really hope this is not true, but merge live action with animation. And as much as I hope that's not what they're doing,
please no.
And nothing in the new looks and stuff tells me that's what they're doing. I don't really see any reason for them to move it back 9 months. Unless they're adding something to it.
Yeah.
I do know that the
I had a
animation process they have to go through for this takes a lot. So yeah, but Sony being the bigger mess than the DCEU just doesn't give me a lot of hope there.
Yeah.
But we did see some new looks. People have said there's a new trailer out there. I cannot find it for the life of me, but I have seen some new footage. And we got it, I think, at least. I don't know if he's going to be the main villain, because it's a two-parter, I think, if you remember the trailer from No Way Home. It said part 1. So it's going to be like a 2-part.
Oh, yeah.
And that could be another reason they're moving it back, maybe so they can release it closer to the second one. I don't know when the second one's coming out. They haven't got no news about that. But the Spot is the villain.
The Spot? The dude with portals?
Yes. I love that villain. He's just and I love that they're picking this villain from the comics that's not a big villain, and they can do so much with it. So I don't think he's going to be the main villain of the 2 movies. I'm guessing there'll be another, I don't think multiverse is the right word, but another from a different universe,
all right.
like span. But he's a really good one for bringing universes together because he can teleport between so many universes.
Okay.
And he's just a really fun because... No, we're talking about that after. Why he's so good, but...
we should probably move it along because we are running out of time here.
So, moving on to that's kind of all for the MCU. We did not get our trailer for Wakanda Forever that people had rumored. I'm guessing it will be coming soon, though.
Okay.
So, you keep looking for that. Hopefully, that will come out. And I can't really wait. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of other news until Ms. Marvel starts wrapping up in the MCU. But yeah, that's what I got so far.
All right.
We will see y'all next week.